on, guys? Welcome back to the Zigzag Wrestling Club. My name is Corbin, and thank you for joining me here today. I gotta be honest, I'm kind of a fake fan. I'm going through and I make my little notes and I watch stuff and I give myself little things to talk about because, people don't give me questions. So please, if you have any questions, please put them down below. It helps me out because I would 100% put literally any question you have. I'd put it in the video, in the podcast. But anyways, I'm just gonna be honest. I don't really remember SmackDown. I didn't take any notes about it, and I looked up a little ChatGPT summary, and there's only really one thing that we need to talk about. So we're just gonna graze over SmackDown real quick. But then also Saturday night's main event. I'm gonna run through the card, and I'm gonna be honest with you again. I barely watched it because I knew it wasn't gonna be that fantastic. I purposefully hit two of the matches. I was like, okay, I have to watch these two matches. And I wasn't disappointed that I missed these because I went back and I watched like highlights of them and I was like, yep, that's exactly what I thought it was going to be. But we're going to get there in a little bit. And of course, we're going to wrap up with the Clash in Italy predictions because that's what this video is all about. So if you care about Clash in Italy, skip ahead because I'm going to just sit here and talk about Raw and Saturday night's main event and even a little one of my favorite wrestlers getting into a wee bit of trouble as of recent. So I want to thank you guys for joining me. If you can do me a favor, go down below, drop a question down below, like, subscribe, support the podcast if you are on there as well. We just switched to Spotify for creators, so you can see my beautiful face. So, SmackDown. First thing I want to talk about, the only thing I want to talk about from SmackDown was the progression in the Sami Zayn heel turn. We have Cody go out. He gets beat by Gunther, put in the sleeper, and then, of course, wait. Right? Oh, no. Yes. Cody gets put in a sleeper hold. Hold real quick. I'm an idiot. I'm back. I'm sorry. It was Sami versus Cody. Cody obviously picks up the win against Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn just can't seem to find his current stride, and he keeps picking up a big string of loses. And of course, Gunther comes out to attack Cody before their match at Clash in Italy, and Sami Zayn decides not to help Cody out, further progressing his heel turn. Thank goodness. I've been saying this forever. Thank goodness. I'm not even going to touch on it that much because we all just kind of needed a little break. Need a little break from face Sami, and I think this kind of officially makes him a heel because he didn't help Cody, but it wasn't like this big moment. It wasn't like all of a sudden Sami comes out and just starts whipping Cody with a chair or a belt or it wasn't anything like that. But it was a moment of okay, the Sami of old would have jumped on Gunther immediately, especially because he hates Gunther. And we've known that from their past. But alas, he did not. He did not do that. So kind of keeps... I want them to have a big moment. It keeps progressing the story of Sami's heel turn, but I really want them to have that big aha moment where it's Sami Zayn is now a heel, 100% tried and true heel at this moment. That's kind of what I want. Now, it is going to be a little bit lackluster, I think, because obviously we've been building this and people already don't like him and people are already booing him, but just to have that moment would, for me personally, I would like that moment, the aha moment for everyone else. That's the only thing I got for SmackDown. In much more important news, which you guys definitely know all about this, I'm going to give my quick thoughts. My homeboy, one of my favorite wrestlers in the WWE, Ludwig Kaiser, was arrested last week. He was arrested on a battery case. And I've seen a bunch of different things flying around the internet, so I don't know what you've heard. If you've heard different things from me, maybe we're both ill-informed. Maybe I am. Maybe you are. Doesn't really matter. But our boy Ludwig, who we haven't seen on TV in such a long time. And I mean, you weirdos out there who are saying, ooh, El Grande Americano, what's going to happen with the mask versus mask match? Well, guess what? guess what? I don't know what you're talking about because they aren't the same person. They're not the same person. So, anyways, moving away from the real El Grande Americano, Ludwig Kaiser arrested. Here's my take on what's going on. There were some words thrown around, words exchanged. Apparently, Ludwig and his very attractive girlfriend, by the way. So, like, good work, Ludwig. They were being a little bit intimate in the elevator. Probably nothing too insane, but some dude, apparently, this is from the dude's perspective, not Ludwig's, turned to them and said, "Hey, do you mind having a little bit of respect?" And then Ludwig just punched him across the face and beat him up in this elevator and then shoved him into a hallway once the doors open. I'm going to be honest with you. I think this dude is a lying sack of crap, and that did not happen. The other story I heard was that this dude made a reference to things I don't really talk about on this channel, an insult towards the heritage and culture of Ludwig's girlfriend, and that kind of sent him over the edge, and that's what caused him to beat this dude up. I've also seen that this dude didn't even get beat up, but also I don't think that one's exactly true either. So I don't even 100% know the entire story. I'm going to go with the second one I just said. This guy says some choice words, some things that are a little bit too inappropriate, and Ludwig crashes out and absolutely just piss slams the dude. So I think that's probably what happened. I think this potentially could have been a fan trying to start something because you WWE fans are absolutely insane. And you'll do anything just to have a moment with a wrestler. It could have been someone who had a bad day, bad night. Who knows what was going on. But all I know is I am on Team Ludwig. His bond was like $1,000. He probably just threw out some quarters onto a table and he bailed himself out the second he got there, probably. If not him, it's probably Gunther. It's probably our good boy Gunther. So I gotta be honest, I just think it's really funny timing. I think the story the story isn't funny, but the story is just all the different conspiracies people are making about this are just so insane, and they're trying to figure out what was going on. I'm like, bro, this ain't your job. This is a police officer's job to figure this out. I'm waiting for the official 100% complete story to come out. I don't know what's gonna happen to Ludwig, but apparently, if we're going off the craziness of you people, he will be at Mask versus Mask. He showed up last week in AAA. For you people thinking he's El Grande Americano, but so he is okay in that sense. He was okay to wrestle, so that's good. That is good. But here's another good thing. Ludwig Kaiser gets arrested, we at least know he's out there. We know Ludwig is alive and well at this point because we didn't know. We haven't seen him in so long, so I don't know. I just think the whole scenario of me, this is what happened. I woke up, I check my phone, I open Instagram, the first thing I see is Ludwig Kaiser arrested, and I was like, huh. I scrolled down. Ludwig Kaiser charged for battery, and I was like, oh, because usually, with athletes and stuff like that, it's when there's battery, it's usually against someone of the other gender, and then they go to jail for a long time. Or they don't. They get bailed out because corporations have money and can pull some strings, and they don't end up in jail. But then I ended up seeing more of the story, and I was like, sweet, it was against another dude. He beat the hell out of someone. Also, originally, I heard that he got into a bar fight, which wasn't even close to what happened and what I think the real story is. But I was reading all this stuff at 6:30 in the morning before work, and I was like, huh, isn't that interesting? But the dude probably had it coming. I'm gonna be honest. I think the dude he beat up was probably weird, not the greatest person, maybe said something he shouldn't have. Again, I don't know the full story, so take this with a grain of salt if you don't care. But it was just a very interesting development in a story within the WWE. Moving over to Raw. Of course, I paid attention to this because this Raw was pretty fire. I'm going to be honest, I think Raw is cooking up something real special here, and I'm going to get to that in just a second. Obafemi immediately comes out, and he swears He is going to kill Brock Lesnar. He puts the stamp of approval on it. Now, here's the thing. Is this a money grab? Yes. Am I going to fall for it? Yes. I think this is a cool angle from the WWE. Like, realistically, not realistically, like originally, it was this thing where it was like, oh, I respect Brock Lesnar. Oh, we're like two beasts going at it. Ooh, blah, blah, blah. Now it's like, I don't want to just retire Brock Lesnar. I want to end the career of Brock Lesnar. I want to put an end to his life, and saying all this stuff, and Brock probably feels the same way about Oba. So now we're going to get this awesome match at Clash in Italy. Super excited. Again, it's not going to main event, and it probably maybe should. Of course, it's going to be the Tribal Combat match. Pretty obvious. But this is still going to be just a great match in general. Actually, this is kicking off because they're doing the 1 hour free. Again, another money grab where it's like, oh, look how good this match is. Ooh, buy the rest of the pay-per-view, and then you could watch the rest of it. It's like, I hate money grabs so much. But anyways, I think it's a cool angle that the WWE is doing. I don't really have much to say about this like whole feud, but I just know the match is going to be really good. Javon Evans versus Penta for the Intercontinental Championship was a little bit interesting because we've seen this dynamic of Penta and Javon like being friends, and they're like, dude, I'll defend the title against you anytime. This and that. They've been friends. But this match just felt a little bit different in general. We got a less smiley, less playful Javon Evans, as I should say, and he ends up taking a horrific bump on the announce table against Penta. I think they were trying to do a thing where he jumps through for a suicide dive, and Penta kind of like throws him over the table, and he like shoots over the table. But I think, things happen. I'm not going to blame it on a certain person. Just like, racing incidents happen. Two cars collide. They crash. This is kind of the same thing. Maybe Javon his timing was off. Maybe Penta didn't quite get him over the way he wanted to. Maybe, there's a bunch of different factors. We as fans, we as spectators don't 100% know what was happening. So I just think this was chalked up to an incident. But I mean, his entire spine just slammed that announce table. And for a sec, I was like, oh, like he's hurt. Because the last injury I've seen like that was JD McDonough's. And we all remember that one. It was probably the most insane bump I've ever seen someone take. I guess it was kind of a mistake, but he took it on the chin. That was probably one of the most insane things I've ever seen. But that bump like kind of reminded me of it, because anytime a wrestler like hits the announce table like awkwardly, it always really scares me, because those are the bad ones typically. So I'm happy he's all right. He finished the match. I haven't seen anything where it's like he's injured, he's this, he's that. So we're good on that. But to the WWE's credit, letting Penta defend the IC title as much as possible is potentially one of the best things WWE has done all year. Just letting him go out on Raw. He's not doing an open challenge. He's kind of just doing this thing where he's like, oh, you want a title shot? Okay, me and you next week. Oh, okay. You want next? Okay, me and you next week. You and I are going to do this. Sick. I'm down for that. And also at the same time, they're doing this thing where it's like, okay, we can have this like big IC title picture, but going into like a Saturday night's main event, for example, we can build this little side story with an Ethan Page. And it's not just like, okay, random match. We can have all these random matches, but they circle around this center story where eventually one of these people goes on to a pay-per-view to fight him. So I like the angle they're playing with this IC title. I think it works well. But the other thing is, like I was saying earlier, Javon Evans, we see him lose the smile. We see him less playful. Penta tries to raise his hand after the match. He pulls his hand away. He acts really pissed, which we haven't seen from Javon Evans. I like that. I like that, though. I like seeing characters change whenever they lose. Like, just being all smiley all the time is fine. But sometimes, like, having that switch up in character and kind of having your character develop just that little bit, I really like personally. So he goes to the back. They end up having a little backstage segment together where he's like, Javon's like, hey dude, I'm sorry, like it's not cool of me, it's not professional, I was just upset. And of course, Penta, being the over babyface he is, he's like, dude, it's okay, they get over it. But if we can kind of like take this angle of Javon being a little bit more serious and kind of intertwine that. I'm not saying he just has to be like dull and he needs to be a heel now. I'm not saying anything like that. But if he can just be a little bit more serious and have a little bit more of this mean streak, I think that's like a new side of his character that we can unlock and extract, and it would make for a very good character on weekly TV. Logan Paul reportedly has a torn tricep. Dude, what's going on? What's going on? Every member of the Vision has been hurt now. Except, well, I mean, technically not Austin Theory, but he was coming off an injury whenever he returned. Bronson Reed's hurt, Braun Breaker got hurt, Seth Rollins got hurt, and now we're to Logan Paul, who is now hurt. So we are now back to only 2 members of the Vision. We only have Austin Theory and Braun Breaker. Thank goodness that they decided to bring in Austin Theory, all that time back, and it's worked out great for him. But like this is bad. Like this is genuinely concerning, the amount of injuries and bad luck the Vision has had, and not just the Vision, just the whole WWE in general. But it just sucks. It does suck, and you can sit there and be like, well, Logan Paul's a piece of trash. He did the rug pull scam, and he's a terrible human being. He might be. But wishing, injuries on other people is not cool. And I hope he can have a speedy recovery, because me personally, I like him a lot. And I think he's very good. But you just hate to see that. You really do. And then now that really dampens the Vision's, their momentum. But I am going to say one thing. It's going to be the theme of this video. That's probably why he's the cover of this. I think this is going to benefit Austin Theory a lot. And I'm going to like it a lot. But where do the tag champs go from here? Of course, I wrote this before finding out. Paul Heyman instated some rule in their contract where the Vision defends the tag team championship. So Braun Breaker is now your tag team champion, along with Austin Theory. And I'm going to be honest, nice. I think their dynamic, they haven't really like worked to get together. I don't know how to say this. So in the Avengers, you have all these different Avengers, and Chris Pratt and Batista are always talking together because they're in oh my gosh, they're in the Guardians of the Galaxy. But of course, then you have like Thor, who talks to that entire group as well. Well, there are some characters within the Marvel region in the Avengers who have actually never like talked to each other on screen. So like, I forget exactly who it is. I think it's like I believe it's like Doctor Strange and Thor, maybe. And if that's totally wrong, sorry for all the Marvel heads out there. But there are like a few people who have never actually had an on-screen interaction. That's kind of what it feels like with Austin Theory and Braun Breaker. I feel like they're always in the same room, they're talking with the Vision, but these two directly haven't ever been like, hey dude, what's up? Like it hasn't, I don't feel like I've ever really seen that from them. I feel like they're always communicating through the Oracle Paul Heyman, or through, Bronson Reed, or through Logan Paul. Like, but I feel like these two are like on the polar opposite ends of the Vision, and now you're bringing them together, and you're going to have them create this new dynamic that I think is going to be pretty good. I don't know. It does suck for Logan Paul to get hurt, especially because he was just so white hot at the moment. But also, I do think there are going to be a lot of upsides, which I will talk about. So we're going to play a little game. We're going to play this game a few different times throughout this episode. It's called Push That Button. So what it is it gives me a prompt, and would I push that button to make this thing happen or not? So this one says, you can instantly learn any skill, but you forget one memory of your choice every time you do it. Push the button. Would I push the button? Now, this is tough. Now, the reason I am going to push the button is because this one does say I forget a memory of my choice. If it was a thing where it was you forget a memory and it's not your choice, like you don't get a choice, that would suck. I don't know if I would push the button in that regard, but if I could instantly learn a skill, like I could instantly become fluent in French right now, push this button, and I can choose, like, maybe it's a memory that I consistently have, but maybe it's not really a good one, because I got a lot of those. I got a lot of embarrassing moments that I would like to permanently forget. But also that's another thing, getting rid of memories, that can change you if you do it too much. Like you learn from your mistakes, you learn from being cringy whenever you're in 7th grade making TikToks. Just outed myself. They're not there anymore. Don't go check because they're not there anymore. They're all taken down. But you think of all these things where it's like, oh my gosh, why did I do that? Why did I say that to this person? Why, like, that was terrible. I just wish I could forget it. It's part of growth. Doesn't matter though. I'm still doing the instantly learn one skill. So I, in fact, would push the button. Let me know down below if you guys would push the button for that scenario. Actually, for all of these. Let me know what you would do, because personally, I think for the most part, I'd push these buttons because I've just kind of like ran through them real quick. But some of these are tough if you like really want to sit down and like think deeply into these, because they're very entertaining to figure. It kind of like lets you see within inside yourself. It helps you better understand yourself by like listening and going through these, and you're like, huh, like maybe I am more deeper than I really think I am on the surface, basically is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know. I think they're fun. So we're going to have a few of these throughout this entire episode. Austin Theory says he will, quote unquote, destroy everyone involved with hurting Logan. By the way, that's a bro. That is an absolute bro. Everyone needs a friend that's like, that person did what to you, and they're sprinting out the door going to get revenge. Like, Austin Theory, what a guy. What a guy. I think they just need to take advantage of this. And I think they need to have Austin Theory gain some real singles traction, and they need to have him consistently win matches. I mean, don't do this cheese where it's like, oh, we hit him with the knucks, he's just disqualified, he didn't get pinned. Don't do that. Do this thing where it's like, Austin Theory's just going on a rampage. It's like he runs through Joe Hendry, like what we see. He's going to go run through Seth Rollins, and he's going to hurt Montez Ford, and he's just going to go absolutely ballistic. He's going to eventually have some singles matches with people, and you need to have him win, because his singles traction is going to help the Vision grow, which is really what it needs right now, because the Vision seems very feeble at the moment. And if you can have a dude like Austin Theory really build up the team, that looks better for the WWE. So, my hair looks crazy. Anyways, consistently winning matches, getting some real heat, which he does. Austin Theory interrupts Joe Hendry's concert and just beats the piss out of him with a chair. Awesome segment. This is the Austin Theory people want. People don't want this dude who's like, oh, the pressure. Ooh, I get pinned all the time. Ooh, I'm this. Ooh, I'm that. Have this dude come out. Have this dude be a heel. Have him get booed. And have him kick the absolute hell out of people because he looks the part. You wouldn't have Akira Tozawa come out with a chair and beat on people until they're bleeding. That's not what he looks like. What he looks like is he looks like a good guy who can go out and he can win matches no matter how short he is. That's his character. Austin Theory's character is not, well, I'm just going to slip and fall and fail all the time and get pinned all the time. Yeah, that's my character. That's not what he looks like. The dude looks like a freaking superstar. His biceps are literally the size of my face. They're the size of everybody's face, because guess what? They're ginormous. And you're taking this dude who looks like a world champion, and you're like, best we can do is a loss to Rey Mysterio. I'm like, no. Let him win. Let him beat the hell out of some people. Let him get some real heat. Let him get some traction. But him coming out and getting Joe with the chair, I loved. I loved all of it because I've always been an Austin Theory guy. Whenever I started picking back up, him and Grayson Waller were the tag team. I was like, oh, their tag team's pretty sweet. I'm like, I'll gravitate towards them. And then, a few months down the road, whatever it was, maybe a year down the road, he gets hurt. That sucks. But now that he's back, he's in full strength. Let him do his thing. Let's just see where this goes. I'm intrigued. Corey Graves had such a great call out last night. They were talking about the Knicks and how Danhausen's curse, how he lifted it, and now it's working. They're going to the finals. They haven't lost a game since that happened, which is a whole nother conversation in itself. It's the most unbelievable circumstance I've ever seen. And it's so funny how this has turned out. But anyways, Corey Graves said they're talking about basketball, and he's like, yeah, I don't watch made up sports. Thought that was very funny. I like that call out because I know if someone were to clip that and put it online, people would rage and be like, well, at the WWE, actually, it's funny because we're finally getting that little kickback on basketball. And if you want to be all for real, the Thunder have made the NBA seem like a WWE-esque sport because all they do is flop, all they do is foul bait. It seems very fabricated. I don't watch the NBA because I think it's extremely fabricated, and I'd rather watch the WWE. So I just thought it was funny that Corey Graves decided to throw that in there. We got another push the button. You get one guaranteed championship reign in WWE, but your reign only lasts one day. Are we pushing the button? Hell yeah, I'm pushing the button. If I don't push the button, I won't be a WWE champion. But if I push the button, I will be. And that's a flex I'm going to hold forever. And guess what? You get a replica belt that I don't have to pay for, and it's going to be put on my wall back there, and it's going to be all beautiful. So I would 100% push this button because I can. And I get my little one-day championship reign. Also, that means I have to win it. It could mean I win it, and I have to give it up the next day. Crying Finn Balor fans, sorry. Or maybe I win the championship and the very next day I lose it. But guess what? That means I have to win a match. I have to win a match to get it. So I'm definitely going to push the button. And how am I going to win? I'm not winning by a roll-up. I'm going to win by a Dominic Mysterio distraction. And then someone's going to hit the dude, whoever I face. I'm going against Cody Rhodes. What are we saying? Distraction from Dom. I'm going to low blow Cody Rhodes. Here comes JD with a belt. Boom. Hit him on the head. And I think Austin Theory's going to come in, hit a little A-Town down on him. That suit's going to be wiped out. Everyone's going to be booing me. But dude, this is my shot. And then I'm going to climb up on the ropes. And I'm probably just going to hit a shooting star press real quick. Because I can pull that out of the bag. But if we're being realistic, I'm hitting the sweet chin music. Because I know I can do that. That's like my stim. My vocal stim and my just my normal stim. I'll just be standing there and I'll just start tuning up the band a little bit and a little practice on a super kick. Not in public, of course. And my vocal stim has been from the movie Hoodwinked, I believe is what the movie is called. And the dude who voices Kronk in Emperor's New Groove, he plays a wolf. And he's with this little squirrel guy. And they're going through this mine shaft and they can't see. And the little squirrel guy's like, "Oh, don't worry, I found candles." And of course, Kronk, I don't know the wolf's name, but Kronk's like, "Oh, what kind of candles are they?" And he goes, "Ooh, candles, dinamita. Dinamite." And he's like, dinamite, must be French. I've been saying that way too much. I probably look like an absolute psychopath at work because I keep saying, dinamite, must be French. Constantly. I mean, literally. But granted, I work with a bunch of old guys. They probably think I'm insane anyways because I sit there and I laugh at, myself. Not at myself, but to people in my AirPods. And so they think I'm probably just this dude just laughing at himself and being all weird. That got really off the rails. But yeah, I'm hitting a Shawn Michaels super kick and I'm getting the pin on Cody Rhodes. and I'm gonna be the champion. And then guess what? The very next day, I'm gonna lose on purpose to a returning Carlito, because that would be sick, or Dom, or the Nuevo Grande Americano, or Austin Theory. Just any of my favorite people. I'm just gonna be like, let's have a match because I have to lose it, and then I just lose. But if it's not my choice, I guess I'd probably just lose it to someone else, like Gunther. But honestly, if I was ever like put in the ring against Gunther, I would immediately just like shotgun drop kick him in the balls and get disqualified, because there's no way I'm ever gonna survive that. So it doesn't matter. I'm pushing the button. Montez Ford and Seth Rollins show out. They put on a freaking show. And of course, this situation ends up with Austin Theory coming out again to take out Angelo Dawkins. First of all, the match itself, talk about a match made in heaven. It's like two dudes who are just super high energy, if we're being honest. And they wrestle a very similar style. And everything was great. I don't have anything to say. Their finish was awesome, where it was like constantly all these different moves. You have the big frog splash, and then Seth, hits the Falcon Arrow, and then they're doing this, and then a pedigree, and then a reversal. And then they pay homage to the Bianca Belair versus Becky Lynch match from WrestleMania 38 or 39, whichever one it was. It was cinema. They both were hitting suicide dives back and forth. It was great. And it works perfectly with the story they're trying to tell, because whenever Austin Theory comes out, again, this is good. This is W. Have Austin Theory just run around with chairs and just beat the hell out of people, because it works. And then have him obviously win matches, like I was saying. But he comes out, he takes out Angelo Dawkins, and even though they have this match and Seth ends up winning, it leads to Tez and Rollins coming together, because Angelo Dawkins has been taken out, and he has been the main focal point. It's like okay, I understand where Seth's coming from, but Montez is my boy, and I understand where he's coming from, and he's trying to be the great equalizer. They've built this story very well, and I gotta be honest, this is probably one of my favorite things happening on SmackDown right now, besides all the stuff with Austin Theory. But for real, this might be the best thing to ever happen to Austin Theory, is Logan Paul getting hurt, as bad as that sounds. And again, I'm going to double back to this because this is the main focal point of the episode. This is a huge development in his career. And him coming out and getting involved with the whole Angelo Dawkins, Tez, Rollins feud, and then also that's building the Vision thing with Braun Breaker and Rollins, and Paul Heyman's involved. This is going to be a masterpiece if they play their cards right, so I'm really excited to see what they end up doing with this entire feud. Rey Mysterio versus Rusev. What a fun match. What a great callback. You have a big monster in Rusev. He goes up against Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio always tends to get the better of the big guys. But Dragon Lee makes the save. And I got to be honest, kind of got goosebumps a little bit whenever Dragon came out. You have Rusev getting ready to put Ray in the Accolade, and you have Ethan Page getting ready to, he was coming in to put on some moves, and you get that theme music that hits, and Dragon Lee just comes on full sprint, and he ends up saving him. Like, that was sick, and I mess with Dragon Lee hella. I think the dude's super underrated. Think he's very talented. There's a reason AJ Styles wanted to be in a tag team with this guy. There's a reason they're tag team champions together. He's got the Styles Clash now. He uses it pretty consistently, and it was great. Like, Ray gets an IC title shot out of this against Penta, which is going to be a banger. But I think this should potentially spiral after this. Like, there's no way Ray wins the IC title. It should be Dragon Lee next to face Penta, and maybe they do a little like triple threat or something with all the luchadors. I think it'd be sick. Back to Austin Theory. Maxine and Austin Theory finally have a segment together. It's not like a thing where it was like a quick, they were backstage talking, they were doing this, they were doing that. Austin Theory walks up, checks out Maxine, is like, hey baby, what's going on? Whatever he says. Of course, Maxine does the little girly, like, turn away, blush thing, and then she turns to the Alpha Academy, and they exchange some words, kind of just like, I think Otis says, like, yeah, babes. I don't know if I fully trust him, is kind of like the thing he was trying to get at. Maxine, like, seemed to maybe defend him a little bit. I like this storytelling because Maxine is not really doing anything right now. The Alpha Academy isn't really doing anything right now. I feel like Maxine doesn't really need to be in the Alpha Academy, even though they work very well together. But I like the idea of the Alpha Academy trying to persuade Maxine not to end up dating Austin Theory. And whenever eventually maybe they go into a 2v2 match, Braun Breaker, Austin Theory versus the Alpha Academy, Tozawa and Otis, they end up clashing and Maxine ends up turning heel, which would be huge. I mean, huge for her character, huge for her career, because she's doing nothing. Her being heel gives her a whole new set of tools to work with inside the WWE. So I like the storytelling a lot. I'm excited to see where this goes. I bring it up every single week I see them together because I like it. I like love stories inside the WWE because they're fun. They do eventually kind of get stale and they fall off and whatever. But whenever they're building one up, it's like, okay, like I see what they're trying to do here, and it usually typically ends up working very well. Biggest example being Dolph Ziggler and Lana. Lana turns on Rusev. Dolph Ziggler comes in, makes the save on his big return that he had like back in like 2015, 2016. Awesome. Still get goosebumps even thinking about it. So I like the relationship building, and I think this could be a very fun segment, again, that we can get on Raw. Will I push that button? You can achieve your biggest dream tomorrow, but you'll never be able to set a new dream afterwards. Wow. That's tough. So, like, is it even crazy to say that I don't even know what my biggest dream is? I don't know. Just be successful. Have money, be able to have a job that I like and I don't constantly hate. It's kind of just my dream. I don't know exactly what I'd be doing, but I'd be driving around in a 69 Dodge Charger, little Daytona. But I don't really know what my dream is. But whatever that is, whatever God would conjure up as my biggest dream to make this possible and poof that into existence, I would love that. But I'm never able to set a new dream afterwards. That's the problem. I think that if you achieved your biggest dreams so easily, you would want to set a new dream because you'd want a new challenge for yourself. And so by achieving your biggest dream so easily, it would become this thing where you can never push yourself again. And you can never set that new goal and that new dream. I don't think I'd push the button. I really wouldn't, because it gives you nothing to strive for. I feel like the world around you would get so boring without you like constantly pushing to better yourself or better your content. Or, I'm going to start up another YouTube channel and this one's going to be about Pokemon and food, like things like that. Like you would never be able to push yourself towards a new goal again because you already achieved this one so quick, and you have to keep living this dream out, which I'm sure the dream would be amazing, but I'm almost 20 years old. Like I have so much time to build this dream and build other dreams and do all this stuff. I wouldn't push the button. There's no way. Wrapping up Raw with Jacob and Roman having closure before Tribal Combat. So technically they're not allowed to touch each other. They have this moment where it's like family oriented and they talk about how they both like need each other and they both respect what each other have done. Usually I hate these segments. Usually I hate the segments where two people who hate each other come out and are like, dude, let's make out, which is basically what like CM Punk and Roman did in their last segment. But they're like, yeah, dude, I'm jealous of you. I'm this, I'm that. That's what usually happens, and usually I hate it. I liked this one because this was pointed at their family, and the angle they played was like, they both showed love towards each other because they're family and they want to better their family and things happening within, inside it. And that's the reason they both push each other so hard and have pushed each other so hard. It was kind of a nice bow on top of the wrapping paper, in my opinion. I know a lot of people didn't like this. I know they thought they were dumb. It's like, these guys were just at each other's throats last week, and they were, and usually that's how I would be. But for some reason, this one just made sense that finally they were like, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna have this battle, but it's for a good reason. Saturday night's main event opinions. I'm just gonna run through the match card. I have seen all of these, but I'm just gonna keep them quick because I don't got a lot for you. Becky Lynch versus oh my gosh, Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruca. This was not my favorite match. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was very excited for this, but I thought the ending was dumb. How, Sol Ruca, like, not soul snatches, because that's not what she was going for. She, like, tried to stop herself from hitting the ref. And so she takes out the ref, and so you think Sol Ruca gets disqualified, but then Jessica Carr disqualifies Becky Lynch instead, and the match was just very so-so. Like, it wasn't bad, it wasn't my favorite thing, it was just very okay, and then the ending was weird. Just cool, but like whenever they have this match on Clash in Italy, they need to like seriously deliver some show stealing stuff. Penta versus Ethan Page for the men's Intercontinental Championship. This is one of my favorite matches all year. It really was. I very much enjoyed it. I like the Mr. Ego, Ethan Page. Now that's the one thing I am mad at the WWE right now about, is they took out the ego out of his theme song. Just enter that back in, because that's his entire brand. So that's stupid for even taking that out. But I digress. But him versus Penta was such a great match. Mexican Destroyer, Ethan trying to cheat every once in a while. There's nothing bad about it. It was just such a stellar match. The Vision versus the Street Profits for the men's tag team championships. I really enjoyed this match as well. I thought it was cool. You had the involvement of Braun Breaker. And exactly what I said, you have Seth Rollins not get involved. He doesn't get involved because the Street Profits asked him not to. That's what inevitably gives the win to the Vision. And great storytelling. You didn't really need to take the titles off the Vision. I think they have more to give. Especially now that sadly that Logan Paul's hurt. You can have a new angle with Braun Breaker, I guess. But even then, like with Logan Paul, and Austin Theory had so much they could have done together. So I'm happy about this. I'm happy that the Vision won. Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and Alexa Bliss versus Jade Cargill, B-Fab, and Michin. I gotta be honest with you. This is not my favorite match. I just feel like the inner working people in this match just like don't work well together. Like Rhea Ripley and Jade Cargill work well together. Charlotte Flair and Jade Cargill, they clash really bad. Like their styles clash. Shout out AJ Styles. Like Alexa Bliss is pretty much good with anyone, but like B-Fab and Michin, like they do well with like Alexa Bliss because they can pick her up and do all this other stuff. Like I don't know what it was about this match, but it was like every time something got going, the momentum got killed by like either a mistake or a flub. Like it never just got all the tables turning. And I'm not saying anything bad about any of these girls. Like maybe they just had an off night, but there was just something weird to me. And this, just was not my favorite match. But of course, I was right again because the bad guys, Jade and company, ended up getting the win, which was the right thing to do. It helps build Jade versus Rhea or Jade versus Charlotte, or eventually it's definitely going to be Rhea, Charlotte, and Jade all for the women's championship. Finally, we have Brie Bella and Paige versus the Irresistible Forces for the women's tag team championships. Woof. Yo, this was probably my least favorite match of the year. I'm not going to lie to you. I did not enjoy this match whatsoever. No hate to the girls. I've said this on repeat. The nostalgia tour needs to end. I'm going to leave it there. But anyways, my predictions for Saturday night's main event, I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 for 5. I got it 100% right. I'm him. And hopefully we're going to make the same repeat with Clash in Italy. But first, a question. If someone asks you to tell one story that proves you are a WWE fan, what story would you tell? Ooh, like some extreme ball knowledge. Like someone wants to know that I am a absolute diehard WWE fan. What story would I tell? It's got to be something from the 2010s. And you can't do something basic. Like you got to do like telling someone the story of WLC. If you guys don't know what WLC is, it was whenever Hornswoggle and El Torito, the bull from Los Matadores, went against each other in a miniature TLC. And Hornswoggle tells a story of before that match, someone else pitched it. It wasn't him. And the entire time leading up to it, he was like, this is going to flop. Like, everyone's going to hate this. It's going to be stupid. Everybody thinks we're going to be stupid, whatever. And it's probably one of, like, the most fun matches I've ever seen personally in my entire life. It's such a cool concept to have these two short guys in a rival faction go against each other in a normally very big and over-the-top kind of match. But instead, it is now very miniature. It was very ironic. It's very iconic as well. And I think telling the story of that proves that I'm kind of a diehard. Another one would kind of just be like, if someone was like, who has one of the best, I don't know, shooting star presses of all time? And I'd be like, well, for me, it's a tie between Kurt Angle and Justin Gabriel. I feel like if you said that and someone was a real WWE fan, they'd be like, "Oh, okay, like you know what you're talking about." So like, I don't really know if there's necessarily a story for me personally. Actually, there is. The story I remember growing up that really hit me hard was whenever Daniel Bryan and Kane were feuding, and Kane put Daniel Bryan through a fire table, an ignited table. That was the first time I'd ever seen that, and I literally thought Daniel Bryan died. I legit thought he died. And then what's funny enough is he returned whenever I was in the stadium, and he returned, and a few weeks later he ended up putting Kane through a fire table because that was like the whole story they had been building. I think that's what it was. So me thinking that Daniel Bryan died from Kane's fire table or something like that kind of proves that you're a big fan. Clash in Italy predictions are next. I'm pretty excited. I'm fairly excited for this this PLE. It's not even though it doesn't even have my favorite match of the day on it because Mask versus Mask is Sunday night. You do not want to miss it. I'm super excited for it. But anyways, kick it off. Becky Lynch versus Sol Ruca for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I think. Oof. So this is what I've been thinking of because it's like Sol Ruca, white hot babyface come up girl who's doing a good job, but does she need more time to develop and grow before we put a IC title on her? Here's the reason I'm picking Sol Ruca to win. Becky Lynch is drastically needed against Liv Morgan. I mean, drastically. There is no one in the women's division high enough to compete with Liv Morgan right now and to feud with her. So I think Becky Lynch, like, genuinely, it's not even like, oh, like, let's have her lose it and then do this. No, like, she has to lose the IC title because has Liv even defended her title since she won it? I mean, I think she defended it actually against Sol Ruca potentially, or maybe that wasn't even a championship match. So Solruka's got to win this. I think she's good enough to win it, and once she really finds her footing, I know people haven't been super impressed with, she's had some mistakes, but I do think that once you put this strap on her, she'll turn into a rocket, and people really like her. And also, I think just the belt looks good on her. Her colors match the colors of the belt. So, give me Solruka to win the women's IC title. Next up, Brock Lesnar versus Obafemi. I think you have to have Brock Lesnar win this match. The only reason I'm saying Brock is because I think they're doing a best 2 out of 3. And if you have Brock win this one, then it's like, okay, we have to build up one more time. Let's get one more big build to SummerSlam, to Night of Champions. Even though it's not neither of them are a champion, I don't think it matters. And you have them at Night of Champions, them at SummerSlam. You'd get this huge big build between these two. It'd be fantastic. Give me a best 2 out of 3 match. Give me Brock Lesnar to win this match. Rhea Ripley versus Jade Cargill. Rhea Ripley, I don't have much to say. There's no way they're putting the championship back on Jade. Cody Rhodes versus Gunther for the undisputed WWE Championship. There's just no way Cody loses, right? There's no way. But there's kind of a way. My wheels are kind of turning. They're kind of clicking. This one's kind of up in the air. It's kind of... This one's kind of up in the air. I haven't actually really sat down and thought about this. The thing I always go off of is like, how long has this person held it? Where could they go from here? Does another part of the division need them? Like, there's all these factors in my head. I think that Roman Reigns is going to win against Jacob Fatu, but I'm going to get to that in a sec. I think if you want to continue Gunther's reign of terror, you have Gunther win. I think Gunther, give me Gunther. Let's say it. Screw it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But this one's kind of a toss-up for me. So give me Gunther to win the undisputed WWE Championship for the first time. And I think that belt will look very good on him. Finally, we have Roman Reigns versus Jacob Fatu. It says for the World Heavyweight Championship in Tribal Combat. I don't know if that's 100% true. I think it's for the championship, but I know Tribal Combat's just for the rights to be called the OTC, the Tribal Chief, whatever. Like I said, I don't think Jacob wins. I think Roman Reigns wins unless they really are having problems with his contract and TKO and all this stuff. Shocker, TKO is causing issues. Well. But anyways, I don't see a world where we take the title off Roman Reigns this quick. I think he can have a really long title reign, and it will actually be good for the title because he seems to elevate the title quite a lot. So give me Roman to continue being the tribal chief. That's like his whole thing. So I don't think he'll end up losing this in a Tribal Combat thing. Now, potentially at SummerSlam, I could see him losing this title, but give me Roman Reigns to pick up the victory. Finally, we got a few minutes left before I want to wrap this up. So, you know what we're going to do. We're going to do my favorite thing. We're going to do some random songs, and we're going to blind rank them. Because it's fun. It's very fun for me. So, I'm going to load up my playlist, The Frog Splash, and I think you probably heard that. The first one we got was Alberto Del Rio's theme song. And I gotta be honest, this theme song to me has so much aura. It's a very good theme song, but it is not one of my absolute favorites. I'm gonna actually put it at... Let me put it at 3. I think Reliza goes at 3. Let's see what the next one is. I gotta remember always how to do this because it's like flipped. Oh, that makes me so sad. Voyager, Kairi Sane's theme song is the one we got next. This is a hot take. I think this is one of the greatest theme songs in the current WWE. Obviously not current because she just got let go, but it's still available to listen to. I love Voyager. I think it fits her character very well. So I'm going to put it at number dos. Number 3. We got Bray Wyatt's theme song. A banger. Very good theme song. Let's put it at 4. Yeah, let's put it at 4. I do really like the theme song, but I don't think I like it quite as well as Voyager and Releasa. So, up next, we have random. Stephanie Vaquer's new theme song. I think this theme song gets a bit too much hate. I loved her last one, like really did love her last one, but I think this is still a really good theme, and I think it gets a bit too much hate. I am, though, going to put it at 5 because I think it's probably my least favorite on this list so far, even though like literally all of these are fantastic theme songs, but I think this does have to go at 5, and that just leaves the one slot. We need something huge here. We need something big. Oba Femi's theme song. Okay. Do I like this blind ranking? So, from 5 to 1, we have Stephanie Vaquer's theme, Bray Wyatt's theme, Releasa, Alberto Del Rio's theme, Kairi Sane's theme song, and Oba Femi's. So, if this is my personal list, I'm dropping Oba. This actually might sound crazy. I think I'm dropping Oba's to 5 because it's just the theme song. It's not the entrance of everybody chanting Oba. There's none of that. It's just like his straight up theme song, which is still great. Still great. But it would take it down for me. So I would put his at 5 and move everything else up. Other than that, I actually think it's in a very good order in my personal opinion. Out of these, Voyager definitely is my favorite. But I'm just a Kairi Sane believer. So that's my little fun segment, the little blind ranking songs. You know, I'll try and do something like that pretty consistently here on the podcast. But ladies and gentlemen, I am afraid I'm all out of topics to talk about. I've already gave you all my rundowns, my opinions, my predictions, so I really don't have anything to tell you. Just make sure to watch and enjoy this weekend. Obviously, watch Clash in Italy, but along with that, make sure do not miss OG El Grande Americano versus the new El Grande Americano. It is going to be such an unbelievable match. We finally get to see who is underneath one of the masks of these figures that have been popping up all year, and I'm very, very excited. Probably the most like hyped up I've been for a match in a very, very long time. So, if you guys can do me a favor, go down below, like and subscribe. Along with that, make sure to go rate the podcast. Make sure to follow the podcast. Really helps me out, and we have a lot of fun on all my channels. So that's all I got for you guys today. So I hope you have a wonderful day.